How's it going, everyone? Got some big PlayStation news to go over in this video. A lot of rumblings about a potential state of play happening later this week, and we had heard that PlayStation was probably going to have another showcase this year. We'll talk about that, and then also a pretty interesting Complete Edition has been rated for PlayStation 5, something I had been expecting, but we'll talk about that at the end of this video. First of all, a lot of rumblings about a potential Sony State of Play, PlayStation State of Play event happening this week. Now, Grub had heard that a State of Play would potentially be happening, and then also somebody on Reset Era had posted the lack of communication from Sony at this point is sad. Shinobi602 replied, well, this week is over now, so that is obviously alluding to another State of Play. I saw an image was circulating online. I always see these images like on various social media platforms. Usually a lot of those images, I don't know how to feel about them, but the one that's circulating is a lot of stuff that, you know, seems pretty plausible to be there, like FF7 Rebirth, Stellar Blade, Helldivers 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2. That's all stuff that, you know, if we see it at the State of Play, I wouldn't be all too surprised, especially because, like, you look at something like Helldivers 2, I don't believe that has a release date yet. How are we in September and no release date for Helldivers 2 is out yet? Yeah, no, that's still 2023, so that game needs a release date ASAP because it's supposed to be out by the end of this year. Would imagine it would be maybe a mid-November, early December game. That makes a lot of sense, and in my opinion, like, outside of Spider-Man 2, for the games that I cared about, like, that was the one that stood out to me at that State of Play event. As far as a game actually showcasing gameplay, like, I'm really excited for Helldivers 2, and I just feel like they positioned and the structuring of that showcase, I should say, the showcase was just abysmal, where they, like, opened with fair game where nobody knew what the hell that game was, whereas, like, the opening slot of a show, like a showcase, actually matters, and you could have thrown a game like Helldivers 2 that, yes, it's not the biggest IP in the world, but I think the game generally looks good. It's gonna be out by the end of the year, and you could have gotten a big promotional push for that game, and I thought they completely fumbled there. Like, the fact that they opened with fair game is something that I'm taking to my grave and crapping on Sony for, because Helldivers 2 deserved that slot, and Helldivers 2, I'm hoping, will be good. No slight on fair game, no slight on Concord, the live service titles that I'm sure are gonna do crazy numbers, but we just didn't see anything of those games, so, you know, Helldivers 2 actually showed gameplay, and it's a game out this year. Excited to see more of that. Stellar Blade was scheduled for 2023. I highly doubt that that is going to be the case anymore, given that game, it's one of those games I'm a little bit concerned on, you know, how it's going to turn out. Especially because that's one of those games where we'll see when it does come out. I'm looking at the PlayStation website, and yeah, there's no release window attached to this anymore, and Wikipedia still has it as 2023, but, like, you know, I don't believe it'll be a 2023 title, especially because you shift this to early 2024. This can be a notable exclusive for the console, and help give that console, like, a solid title early into 24, or even later into 2024. We'll see how that turns out. And then obviously Spider-Man 2, you gotta do the final push on that. I would imagine a sizable trailer for that, but that game's gonna crush it out either way. And FF7 Rebirth isn't that far away, so that is gonna be something you'll want to showcase. Rise of Ronin is a title that I think we're due to see more of, especially because that's scheduled for a 2024 release. You're gonna notice with 2024, it really seems like Sony's big emphasis is a lot of these third-party exclusivity deals. It's your Final Fantasy VII Rebirths, it's your Rise of the Ronin that looks like it's going to fill out that kind of single-player repertoire of games for 2024, as I think a lot of the major first-party 24 releases are going to be live service titles. Like, we'll see if Concord's out in 2024 or Fair Game's out in 2024, but look at that slate of games in 2024. What is a big first-party exclusive that is coming out? Rise of Ronin and Stellar Blade are both Sony-published titles, but the studios aren't first-party studios, I should say, so it's interesting there, and a lot of those studios that Sony would lean on, you know, your Sucker Punches of the world, Naughty Dog, they've been a little MIA. Naughty Dog, I mean, they put out Last of Us Part 2 in 2020, so we're still probably a couple years away from their game. Guerrilla obviously just put out Horizon Forbidden West in early 22. They put out Burning Shores this year. Their game's gonna be a few years away, although as far as remasters, remakes, stuff like that could come out and, you know, potential Horizon Online project. Sucker Punch is the big one right now, where you think they're working on Ghost of Tsushima 2. It's been over 3 years since the release of Ghost of Tsushima. You would think that that would be coming, you know, probably either in the fall of next year or probably more likely 2025 is where I would expect Ghost of Tsushima 2. But hopefully we can get a little bit more clarity on what this 2024 lineup is going to look like for PlayStation, because I'm not going to lie, after a pretty barren 2023, Spider-Man being a heavy hitter, Final Fantasy 16 being a big game, but a timed exclusive, that's an exclusivity deal, and then a lot of emphasis on VR in the early portion of the year. I was really hoping that 2024 would be a marquee year for them in terms of delivering a lot of big titles that people are going to get excited for. Helldivers 2 and Spider-Man 2, though, that's a nice way to round out the year. Lastly, I do want to note, Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition has been rated for release on PlayStation 5, so this is going to be much like Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition. It will be Horizon Forbidden West with the Burning Shores expansion, one collection. I would imagine it would be $60. I believe when Zero Dawn Complete Edition came out, they did shave $10 off the price. Like, it released at $50, so you got the expansion and the base game for $50. I imagine they would shave $10 off. It'll be PS5 only, and it'll be $60, you know, given that it was initially a $70 release. Burning Shores was a solid expansion, and Forbidden West I thought was a great game. Even though I have my reservations on where the narrative of Horizon is going, I thought the first game's narrative was much, much stronger, and I thought the second half of Forbidden West, like, just got a little wild, a little wild for my liking. Like, it got straight up insane. Like, let's be real here. And I know some people did seemingly like it, and I'm curious to see where they go with the story, but I wasn't crazy about it, but I still think Forbidden West was a fantastic game. It will be interesting because they are adding these games to Plus Extra. Does that lessen the value and the desire of people wanting to pick up a complete edition of a game like this? And it'll also be interesting, given that they're releasing this complete edition now, is a PC release going to be happening in the near future? I would imagine that Forbidden West would be coming to PC, maybe sometime in 2024. Usually it's a 2-year window between game releases from console, for PlayStation console to PC. But there's cases that, you know, longer than 2 years, and in some cases, like Last of Us Part 1, even quicker than 2 years. That game was just 6 months, but that was a remake. You guys get the idea. But yeah, if you haven't checked out Forbidden West, it's on Plus Extra. If you still have a subscription to that, it's great. It runs really well on PS5, looks really good for a cross-gen title as well. It'll be really interesting to see how Horizon 3 from a visual standpoint looks like when it is a true PS5 exclusive. So that'll be pretty interesting to see. But that'll do it for me. Again, rumblings of a State of Play event later this week. Hopefully that happens, because I still am of the mindset that PlayStation Showcase is one of the worst events I've ever seen in my life. As far as gaming events and big events like that, Showcase was pretty terrible. So I think Sony needs to, you know, excite some people as far as their 2024 lineup goes, because I do think it's looking a little barren. But we'll see about that, and Forbidden West Complete Edition has been rated for release on PS5. That'll do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.